It is time to stop the killing of Syrian citizens by their own government. And we are going to continue to keep the pressure up and look for every tool available to prevent the slaughter of innocents in Syria.
So the uprisings in Syria started a little over 12 months ago, and they were largely peaceful protests, unarmed civilians coming out protesting the unlawful detention of people. Those uprisings over the course of the last 12 months have remained peaceful, but the response of the Syrian regime to those protesters has not been peaceful at all. What we've seen is an escalating level of offensive attacks by the Syrian government towards unarmed civilians. It started off with sniper fire being unleashed on groups of protesters. It's escalated now to the use of heavy-duty weaponry like mortars, rocket-propelled grenades towards neighborhoods that we still believe are largely civilian. The Syrian government claims that what they're trying to do is actually weed out militant groups that are uprising against them. However, we've seen no evidence of that, and from what we can tell, what's happening now in Syria, it is largely crimes against humanity. One of the things that's very interesting about the situation is the kind of weaponry that the Syrian regime is using. Much of this weaponry is identified back to Russian manufacturers, and at the moment, the main broker for Russian arms sales is their state arms company called Rosoboronexport.
Not only is Russia selling arms to Syria to kill innocent civilians, but you can imagine my shock and dismay when I found out that our own Department of Defense has a contract, a no-bid contract, with this same Russian arms merchant.
Human Rights First, working with our partner United to End Genocide, took this issue to the United States Congress and got interest from 17 senators who raised this issue with Secretary Panetta at the Department of Defense, questioning why it is that with the escalation of violence in Syria and our position on what the Assad regime is doing, why it is that the United States continues to engage in this business contract.
And I hope what we are doing today is suggesting to this administration and Secretary Panetta another avenue to let the Russians know that we find it unacceptable for them to be supplying arms to what is a destabilizing influence in that part of the world.
One of the things that Human Rights First and the Crimes Against Humanity program really focuses on is the fact that these atrocities are premeditated crimes. And we believe that if you start tracking, disrupting, and holding accountable all of those actors in that supply chain, whether they are governments of foreign countries, whether they are individual companies, or whether they are individual brokers, that you will actually be able to prevent atrocities at the scale that we have seen.